Eurostar has been battling a series of challenges as Brexit, COVID strikes, and competitors threaten to derail operations. And this year marks the 30th anniversary of Eurostar carrying passengers from London to Paris. The first fare-paying passengers used the service to travel through the Channel Tunnel in November 1994. As the UK newspaper The Guardian reported at the time, there was a cheer as the £24 million locomotive glided out of Waterloo, cheers as it dived into the tunnel at Folkestone, and more cheers as it arrived a record 18 minutes later at Calais. Despite long delays during Channel Tunnel construction and a series of glitches during trial runs, Eurostar was hailed as history-making. For years, it has been a cornerstone of European travel and Britain's most convenient and comfortable gateway to the continent. But recently, the company has been battling a series of challenges as Brexit, COVID strikes, and competitors threaten to derail operations, as I said. So what is the future of Eurostar, and has the visionary rail company reached the end of the track, especially thanks to Brexit? Following the UK's exit from the EU, there is now a requirement to stamp British passports at borders. At London's St Pancras station, where the Eurostar departs, this has become a time-consuming operation. Initially, these rules exacerbated by a lack of staff meant that passengers could not be boarded in time. As such, although the first train of the day between London and Paris has the capacity to carry 900 passengers, Eurostar had to cap ticket sales at 550, meaning 350 seats were going unsold. And to combat this, Eurostar rolled out a smart check system last summer, which uses facial biometric data to replace the manual UK exit checks, although for now it's just available to Eurostar's Business Premier and Carte Blanche passengers. Before traveling, passengers who opt into the service must scan their passport and face alongside their tickets on the SmartCheck iProve.me app, the biometric solution provider behind the system. On reaching the station, they will then be able to use the dedicated SmartCheck corridor with its walk-past facial biometric checkpoint. This has allowed them to stop capping passenger numbers, helped by increased police resources. 50 extra French border control agents have been deployed in Paris Gare du Nord and London St Pancras stations, according to Eurostar at least. A knock-on effect of border checks is also being felt on the popular Amsterdam route, which is set to be affected for 6 months this year. The Dutch capital's Centraal station is undergoing major refurbishment, meaning there will be insufficient space for border security equipment and waiting areas for passengers headed to London. So that's a big problem. And as a result, Eurostar will reduce Amsterdam-London services from 4 down to 3 a day from June until early 25. Passengers returning to London will have to change at Brussels, where security and passport checks will take place. And this change will add 48 minutes to an hour and 48 minutes to the journey as UK-bound services cross the border. On the other hand, some services that were previously suspended have been reinstated, such as the Eurostar Snow service from London to the Alps, which welcomed over 4,000 passengers this winter. The latest post-Brexit hiccup for Eurostar is the EU's new entry-exit system, the EES, which is due to come into force in October. This will see biometric checks for non-EU citizens before entering the international zone at London St Pancras station. It will likely lead to yet more long queues. HS1, the owner of the station and operator of the high-speed line between London and the Channel Tunnel, has warned about this. And this could result in a further reduction in services and passenger numbers, as the company said. Too few kiosks have been proposed by the French government, meaning Eurostar will likely struggle to process the current volume of passengers. We have been working proactively on projections to accurately assess our needs across all stations. As a result, we plan to install around 65 pre-check-in kiosks in our terminals at St. Pancras in London and Gare du Nord in Paris. That's what a Eurostar spokesperson told media. We are also significantly reinforcing border control capacity with additional manual booths and electronic gates at both stations, and Eurostar has invested around 10 million euros in deploying solutions to meet these new regulations they set. In late 2023, new rail operator Evelyn announced plans to purchase a fleet of 12 trains to serve the London to Paris line. The Spanish-owned firm with mysterious investors aims to launch in 2025. It would be the first time that Eurostar has faced cross-channel competition in its 30-year history. In addition, the Virgin Group, founded by billionaire Sir Richard Branson, could also challenge Eurostar's monopoly. Although the project is still in its early stages, it reportedly aims to serve routes from London to Paris, Brussels, and Amsterdam. From 2028, the newly established rail operator Euro says it will add another alternative to Eurostar between Amsterdam, Paris, and London. We just want lower prices and to get more people off planes and on trains, is what the founder of the Dutch company Römer van den Bigelaar told Railtech, I guess it was. For Amsterdam to Paris, Euro is planning 16 services per day, while Amsterdam to London will see 15 a day. And Eurostar is also struggling with its reputation after a last-minute strike in late December 23 by French Eurotunnel staff, which ruined Christmas travel plans for thousands of Brits. The surprise walkout was staged over bonus pay and working conditions and saw some trains rerouted back to Paris and thousands of passengers left stranded. During the incident, one frustrated passenger tweeted, "Families devastated here at London St. Pancras International. I'm not using Eurostar ever again." Amongst all these setbacks, Eurostar still announced that it transported 18.6 million passengers in 23. That's up 22% on 22 and putting numbers back in line with pre-COVID levels. The company says it remains absolutely committed to growing high-speed rail in Europe and hopes to lure passengers with sustainable travel options and a new rewards program. But let's hope here's light at the end of the tunnel for this 30-year-old institution. Well, the United Kingdom in general has seen a significant fall in its trade volumes in recent years, marking the biggest 5-year fall on record while we're talking about Brexit. Economists attribute this decline largely to the impact of Brexit, which has led to a reduction in the flow of goods in and out of the UK. Based on data from the Office for National Statistics, the ONS, the volume of UK imports and exports of goods fell by 7.4% between 2018 and 2023, according to calculations by the Financial Times. And this is the biggest 5-year fall in trade in goods since 1997, which is a worrying trend. The ONS also reports that imports are down 7.4% on 22 and 3.8% on 2018. And similarly, exports have fallen by 4.6% year on year, with significant reductions in exports to European Union countries and non-EU countries. Over 5 years, export volumes have fallen by 12.4%, painting a bleak picture of the landscape here. And economists have pointed to Brexit as a key factor contributing to the poor performance of the UK's trade in goods. The implementation of new trade barriers following the UK's departure from the EU Single Market and Customs Union in 2021 has made the flow of goods in and out of the UK more difficult. John Springford, Deputy Director of the Centre for European Reform, stated that Brexit is the apparent cause of the UK's weak trade performance, which is unusual among advanced economies. Along these lines, the Office for Budget Responsibility noted that the UK's trade intensity, measured as the share of trade in the overall economy, has fallen by 1.7% since 2019, while comparable G7 economies have increased their trade intensity by an average of 1.9% over the same period. The OBR concluded that Brexit frictions and post-pandemic disruptions have had a greater impact on trade in goods than on services. Springford suggests that the UK's trade and its weakness with EU and non-EU countries may stem from the fact that it has missed the robust growth in intra-EU trade in recent years, implying a potential scenario in which UK goods exports to the EU might have flourished in the absence of Brexit. The decline in chemical exports, which has fallen by 15% in real terms from 2018 levels, is particularly worrying. The Resolution Foundation's Emily Fry points out that poor performance in industries such as chemicals that drive productivity and economic growth could have long-term negative consequences. Whereas exports of services have continued to grow strongly, the weakening of trade in high-value goods poses risks to the UK's future prosperity. Taking it all together, the substantial decline in the UK's merchandise trade volume highlights the significant challenges of navigating the new trading relationship post-Brexit. And rebuilding trade flows and minimizing disruption will require ongoing negotiation and cooperation between Britain and its key partners in the years ahead. And if you want to know more, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.